Hi, my name is Mark Goffredson, and I'm your editor-in-chief at Peak Running Performance. One of the most common injuries among runners is lower back pain. And one of our biggest goals at Peak Running is to keep you running injury-free. So we went to Brian Bradley at the Egoscue Clinic. Now, these people at the Egoscue Clinic are considered the experts when it comes to injury prevention and rehab. They've treated some of the best athletes in the world, guys like Jack Nicklaus, Junior Seau, Trevor Hoffman, and Abdi Bile, world champion runner. Now, we went to them and we asked them two questions. One, why are millions of runners getting lower back pain? And two, how do they cure it? Their answer is going to be relayed to you in a 3-part video series. This is part 1. In part 1, you're going to learn all about lower back pain and why millions of runners suffer from it. In parts 2 and 3, you're going to discover 9 different exercises that will help you prevent and cure lower back pain. Now pay attention, because Brian Bradley at the Egoscue Clinic, he moves quickly, he jumps right into it. So get your pencil and paper ready, and if you have to, rewind it and watch the video again. And I guarantee you, if you do the exercises they recommend, your lower back is going to be feeling a lot better.
Okay, so we have shoulders, hips, knees, and ankles. Here's the middle of your spine coming all the way up and down: shoulders, hips, knees, ankles. If you don't have a 90-degree angle at each joint, meaning that the joint is straight across from the other and straight up and down from the one that's the shoulder, for example, this being the hip, this should be straight up and down from the shoulder and the knee. If that does not exist, if it's an elevated pelvic girdle, if it's a depressed shoulder girdle and a medially rotated knee, this on the inactive population is going to show up as a symptom, but it's definitely going to show up on the running population. So then, with 80% of the population in chronic pain, it's because they've deviated from the normal 90-degree angle rule. The shoulder, the hip, the knee, and the ankle being vertically aligned. Okay,
so Brian just explained how your body's supposed to be aligned and what happens when it's not. He did this looking at the body from a front view. This next clip, he's going to explain that same idea, same theory in a little bit more detail, looking at your body from a side view. Check it out.
I drew the side view photograph so that you can see how the shoulder, the hip, the knee, and the ankle should be sitting directly above each other. Okay, now we didn't make any of this up. This is very well known throughout the literature. The idea that you have a neutral pelvic tilt, okay, that's straight. From the side view, when you're like this, if you have a neutral pelvic tilt and all your joints are aligned, you have a natural S-curve to your spinal column. That's efficient. It's a spring-loaded, shock-absorbing system. Each vertebrae has a direct tie to the one above it, but it also has an indirect tie from the base to the top of the apex. Very simply, if your shoulders are rounded forward, someone of you standing there and you can see that their shoulder does this, their head is forward, so their nose is up here, but they still focus on the horizon, so their head goes up, and they wonder why, wow, the base of my neck and back hurts. When this happens, and the shoulder's rounded, the hip starts to tilt, the knee starts to bend, could be, or it starts to hyperextend. Either way, once this pelvis starts moving forward, you now have a person whose vertical line is still going straight up. That's gravity. But their accommodation to gravity has changed. They've now taken a vertical load, shock absorbing, spring loaded system, and they've now made it look like this. There's no shock absorption to that. It's going to collapse upon itself. This one recovers. And this one just collapses on itself. And so the symptom of low back pain, or piriformis syndrome, or hip flexor spasm, or deep abdominal pain, or digestive problems, all centered in this area, are all due to an inadequate pelvic tilt. One side may be different from the other because you have two sides of your pelvis. That's called a disparity. More importantly, this disparity then it starts manifesting itself into compensations within the spine and then compensations down to the whole lower extremity. I mean, look at this mess. You want to get back to the blue model, which is shoulders, hips, knees, and ankles. And I can't stress enough that this isn't rocket science.
Okay, so now we know that the alignment of your body is the core cause of that lower back pain. So now the next question we have is, well, how do we know if our body's out of alignment? Click on the article link right next to this video. It's going to show you 3 simple ways to test your posture. That way you can know for sure if your body's out of alignment.
The following exercises that we're going to run you through are based on a sequence. So it'd be very important for you to keep them in sequence. They're not real long, maybe 20, 25 minutes at the most. One idea I want you to think about going through them is, how did the exercises feel yesterday versus today? How are they going to feel tomorrow versus the next day? Keep a little log for yourself to feel how your body, as you're going into the upper spinal floor twist, really tight, and then 3 days later you can get to the ground. Make sure you're still doing it right, because your body may have slid and you may be cheating it a little bit, but as long as you're doing them right, again, this isn't rocket science, your body has no choice but to succumb to the demand and get you more functional. Your shoulders will be in a better position, your pelvis will be in a, for sure, better position. Out of a disparity in its tilt, we want balance from left to right. That in turn will allow you an equal stride while you're running. And again, let's take that away from back pain for a second, take it over here to efficiency. Once your body's balanced and functional, you're going to run efficiently. And that's what we're all looking for.
Hey, stay tuned for parts 2 and 3, and we'll show you how to get rid of that lower back pain. And remember, at Peak Running, we're changing the way you run, one article at a time.